Good day, everyone, and welcome back to the Clever Report. It's just really Peter Clever, and let's talk about my country. Few days ago, 16 members of the Nigerian military, comprising of Air Force, Navy, and normal army recruits, were arrested for allegedly plotting a coup against the president. Since last year, since October 4th of October 2025, this report got leaked somehow that certain faction of the Nigerian military that are moving in against the president, but the defense headquarters actually, arrogantly dismissed it, saying that it is not possible, it is not happening. Sometimes they just don't want us to believe our eyes. But lo and behold, that after many months of investigation, they arrested the 16 alleged coup planners. So the funny thing about this, firstly, I do not like military coups. I like democracy. I love, even though our democracy is not perfect, even though our democracy is highly flawed, but I love democracy. I love the fact that we the people, even if it's not what is happening, but we have a sense that we have a stake in what is happening. Nobody wants to go back to the reign of Abacha and all these military generals, that are. I wasn't alive when Abacha was reigning, but our parents and senior siblings, uncles told us about how brutal the regime was. Nobody wants to go, back to that kind of regime. Even though certain civilian presidents have been pushing the grounds, even being, almost dictators, or almost, banning, like late President Buhari banning Twitter just because we are airing certain opinions that were not favorable to his government. But that aside, I digress. Now, the only thing trending about this, alleged military coup is that amongst the 16 members, the 16 coup planners, the alleged coup planners, because you know, they've not been convicted in a military court or, in a military tribunal. So I'm just going to use allegedly to refer to them. So all of them, nobody is of Igbo origin. The worst part, if this was one person, if there was an Emeka, Chiamaka, Carlo, Ifani amongst these coup planners, the headline would have been Igbo military officers planning to take down the president. That would have been the headline. But now that the most, almost even all of the military men involved in this failed coup were from the northern extraction of Nigeria. The chief amongst them is Brigadier General M.A. Sadiq from Nasarawa State. His second in command, Colonel M.A. Maji from Niger State. If these people were from Igbo origin or Igbo extraction, it would have been mainstream media. Why, you ask yourself, why is the mainstream media keeping quiet about this whole story? They're actually suppressing this story. This story is not getting enough airtime because Igbo people are not involved. This is a marginalization that has been gone through even since 1966 when that coup happened. Everybody knows I'm not in support of a coup, but it actually happened. Everybody knows that coup wasn't from a place of tribe. The military men that time, Major General Zogo and Co, stated that it was just because of utter and shared corruption. I don't agree with the way they went about it, but it wasn't based on tribal ideology. It was based on collection. These military officers thought that the corruption was too much, but they labeled it as an Igbo coup and used it to marginalize and oppress us from 1966 till now. Even after the Civil War, there's been this subtle hatred that other tribes have for us, and it is not good. So, when you complain, they say that you want to be a victim, I'm happy that the coup failed. I'm very, very happy that the coup failed. But if there was an Igbo involved, they would have blown it out of the water. They would have said Igbos want to take over as usual. They would have found a way to generalize it and make it a tribal thing. But now that the major culprits or alleged culprits in this failed coup attempt are from the northern part of Nigeria, everybody, I'm hearing crickets everywhere. Nobody is saying anything. Prominent people. If a single Igbo person was amongst these planners, they would have been telling Peter Obi to make a statement. They would have been telling prominent politicians from the Igbo extraction to make a statement. But nobody is even telling somebody like Atiku Abubakar to make a statement. Nobody is telling somebody like Kwankwaso to make a statement. Everybody is just keeping quiet because Igbos are not involved in this coup. And I'm so happy, maybe by providence or by chance or by fate or by luck, there was no Igbo officer involved in this failed coup. There was none of them. And nobody likes a coup. I do not like a military coup. Even though I don't agree with certain policies of the president, but I want him to finish his reign and let democracy play its role. Let us vote. If you want to vote for him or vote against him, you have the right. We shouldn't have political apathy because things are going wrong in the country. So I'm so happy that there was no Igbo military officer involved in this coup, because they would have used it to find a way to marginalize the Igbo sect in this Nigeria. That's all I'm going to say about that. Ụmụnne m ndị Igbo, thank God we are off the waters for now. So make sure you like, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you'll be notified anytime I drop another video. You know I love you, but God loves you more.